Maya stood in the driveway with her suitcase beside her, the night air heavy with shame. The front door slammed behind her, and Evelyn's voice cut through the silence like a knife. "You came with nothing," Evelyn hissed, her arms folded tightly across her chest. "And you'll leave with nothing." The words hit harder than the cold breeze brushing Maya's face. She tried to steady her breathing, but her chest burned. Around them, the neighbors' curtains twitched. Porch lights glowed from across the street. People were watching, silent, curious, and unwilling to interfere. Maya's humiliation was their evening entertainment. She bent down to grip the handle of her suitcase, but her hands shook. She had packed in a hurry, clothes stuffed in uneven piles, shoes tossed in without care. The zipper strained to stay shut. Every small detail screamed how unwanted she was in this house, in this family. Evelyn's eyes gleamed with cruel satisfaction. "I told Daniel from the beginning," she went on, raising her voice so the neighbors could hear. "Girls like you don't belong here. A woman with no class, no money, no name. I should have trusted my instincts." Maya swallowed hard. Her throat tightened and tears stung her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not here, not while Evelyn stood above her like a queen delivering punishment. The silence around them grew heavier. A couple across the street whispered to each other. Someone shifted their curtains wider. Maya could feel dozens of eyes pressing against her back. She thought of Daniel, her husband, the man who had promised to protect her. He was still inside, quiet, caught between his mother's shadow and his wife's broken figure in the driveway. That silence hurt more than Evelyn's insults. His silence was a choice. Evelyn stepped closer, her perfume sharp, her words sharper. "You'll never be anything more than a burden. Be grateful I'm letting you walk out instead of dragging you out." Maya's lips trembled, but her voice was steady when she finally spoke. "We'll see about that." The words were soft, almost a whisper, but they carried something Evelyn didn't expect. Not begging. Not defeat. A spark, quiet but dangerous. Evelyn's smirk faltered for the briefest second, but she quickly masked it with another sneer. Pathetic. She turned and marched back inside, the door slamming shut like a final verdict. Maya stayed still, her suitcase at her side, the night stretching endlessly before her. Her heart pounded, not with fear this time, but with something new, something fierce. As she pulled her suitcase onto the street and walked away, her mind began to race. Evelyn thought she had won. She thought Maya was powerless, discarded like an unwanted guest. But Evelyn had no idea. Every bill, every mortgage payment, every subscription that kept the house running. It was Maya who had quietly handled it all. She knew every account number, every password, every detail of the home Evelyn claimed to control. Maya wiped the single tear that slipped down her cheek. She straightened her back and whispered again, only for herself this time. "We'll see about that." And under the watchful eyes of the neighborhood, Maya disappeared into the night, broken on the surface, but carrying a secret that could unravel everything Evelyn believed she owned. Young woman from a modest family, Maya grew up learning the value of hard work early in life. Her parents were simple people who lived paycheck to paycheck. They didn't own much, but they gave Maya something far more important: discipline and education. Maya studied hard, always believing that if she worked enough, life would reward her. After finishing her degree, she got a small job in an office, earning just enough to cover rent and groceries. Life wasn't easy, but Maya never complained. She believed in building her future one brick at a time. Then came Daniel. He was charming, with an easy smile that made people trust him instantly. Maya met him at a friend's wedding, and from the very first conversation, he made her feel special. He asked about her dreams, her favorite books, even her childhood. Unlike others who often overlooked her quiet presence, Daniel gave her full attention. It felt like a whirlwind. Dates filled with laughter, late-night calls, promises whispered under the stars. Within a year, Daniel proposed, slipping a ring on her finger with the words, "You make me complete." Maya believed him. She thought she had found love, the kind she had only read about in novels. But marriage came with more than just Daniel. It came with Evelyn, Daniel's mother. Evelyn was everything Maya was not: wealthy, proud, and obsessed with appearances. She lived in a large house with polished floors, silver cutlery, and chandeliers that sparkled even in the daytime. To Evelyn, Maya was an intruder, a reminder that her son had chosen someone beneath their status. From the beginning, Evelyn made her feelings clear. She would look Maya up and down and say things like, "Is this what passes for a dress where you're from?" Or, "Daniel deserves a woman who knows how to host, not whatever this is." Every dinner became a test. Evelyn would watch her cooking with raised eyebrows, waiting to find fault. If the soup was too salty, it became a lecture about how real women cook. If Maya set the table wrong, Evelyn made a show of correcting her in front of Daniel. Maya tried to brush it off at first. She told herself, "This is her house. I'm a guest. Maybe if I try harder, she'll accept me." But Evelyn didn't want to accept her. She wanted to break her. The cruelest part was how Evelyn controlled everything in the household. At least, that's what she believed. She held the family credit cards, dictated where money should go, and boasted to her friends that she ran a tight ship. To outsiders, she was the powerful matriarch keeping her household perfect. But behind the scenes, things were different. Daniel trusted Maya with the practical side of finances. He handed her the responsibility for managing bills, setting up online payments, and keeping track of the mortgage. While Evelyn strutted about like she ruled the world, it was Maya who quietly made sure the lights stayed on, the water flowed, the gardener got paid, and the streaming services worked. Every month, Maya sat at the small desk in their bedroom, checking accounts, scheduling payments, and balancing expenses. She knew the passwords to every utility, the renewal dates of every subscription, and the details Evelyn never bothered to learn. She did it not for recognition, but because Daniel asked her to, and she wanted their home to run smoothly. Evelyn never realized. To her, Maya was nothing more than a guest overstaying her welcome. And so on the outside, Maya played the part of the quiet, submissive wife. She kept her head down when Evelyn mocked her. She smiled faintly when Evelyn introduced her to guests as Daniel's wife, without ever saying her name. She learned to swallow her hurt when Evelyn reminded her, "This is my house." But beneath that quiet surface, Maya was the silent backbone of the household. She was the reason everything worked, the invisible hand holding up the very structure Evelyn bragged about. Still, no matter how much she gave, Evelyn never softened. In fact, the better Maya managed things, the angrier Evelyn seemed. It was as if Evelyn hated the thought that this modest, ordinary girl could have any real importance in her son's life. And Daniel? He loved Maya, but he also feared displeasing his mother. He would comfort Maya in private, telling her not to take Evelyn's words to heart, but in front of Evelyn, he rarely stood up for her. His silence often left Maya feeling small, unprotected, and painfully alone. Yet Maya endured it all, believing love was worth the pain, and family worth the sacrifice. She told herself she could be patient, that one day Evelyn would see her worth. But that day never came. Instead, the cracks grew deeper, the insults sharper, and the tension heavier. Maya had no idea that soon everything would explode. A heated argument erupts one night. It starts small, as most of them do, Evelyn criticizing the way Maya folded the laundry. But this time, Maya doesn't stay silent. She's tired, she's drained, and the sharpness of Evelyn's tone pushes her too far. "I've done enough, Evelyn," Maya says softly, her voice shaking but firm. "I may not be perfect in your eyes, but I am not useless." Evelyn's eyes widen then narrow. She laughs bitterly. "Useless? You are worse than useless. You are dead weight. Everything you have, this roof, this food, even my son, you wouldn't have without me. Don't you dare think you matter." Maya flinches at the words, but before she can respond, Evelyn steps closer, her voice rising. "You came into this house with nothing. And the truth is, you're only here for one reason. You're after Daniel's money." The words hang in the air like poison. Maya's heart pounds as she looks toward Daniel, silently begging him to say something, to defend her. His mouth opens, but no words come. He glances between his mother and his wife, caught in the crossfire, too afraid to choose a side. That hesitation cuts deeper than any insult. "Daniel," Maya whispers, her voice breaking. "Is that what you think too?" Daniel looks down, his silence answering louder than words. Evelyn seizes the moment. "Enough of this," she snaps, pointing toward the stairs. "Pack your things and get out of my house. You've taken enough from us. You don't belong here." The room feels like it's spinning. Maya waits for Daniel to stop her, to take her hand, to say no. She stays, "She's my wife." But he doesn't. He stands frozen, his eyes avoiding hers. Something inside Maya shatters. With trembling hands, she walks upstairs, pulling out her old suitcase from the closet. She throws clothes in without thinking, her vision blurred with tears. Every drawer she closes feels like a goodbye. Her wedding photo on the nightstand stares back at her, a cruel reminder of the promises Daniel once made. When she comes down with her suitcase, Evelyn is waiting by the door, arms crossed, smug satisfaction painted on her face. Daniel lingers in the background, silent, useless, and painfully small. Good riddance, Evelyn says coldly. I told you from day one, this family doesn't need you. Maya's throat burns. She wants to scream, to fight, to demand Daniel speak up, but no words come. Instead, she drags her suitcase outside, the night air stinging her cheeks. The door slams behind her, and she is left alone in the driveway. Her tears fall freely now, but somewhere deep inside a spark ignites. She remembers the bills she paid, the passwords only she knew, the accounts she managed, electricity, water, mortgage, streaming, gardener, all tied to her. Evelyn thought throwing her out would end her story, but she had no idea the house she controlled so proudly only stood because Maya kept it standing. Maya wipes her face with the back of her hand. For the first time that night, she takes a deep breath. Her heart still aches, but a thought repeats in her mind. If they want me gone, then let them feel what life is like without me. She whispers to herself, steady and determined. They'll see. With her suitcase rolling behind her, Maya walks into the darkness. She has lost her home, her place, her illusions about Daniel's love. But in losing everything, she has found something unexpected: fire. And that fire is only beginning to burn. Cancels automatic utility payments she had set up in her name. That was the first step. Sitting on the edge of her friend's small couch, Maya opened her laptop and clicked through the accounts she once managed so carefully. Electricity, water, gas. All the services she had tied to her bank account. With a calmness that surprised even her, she pressed cancel. Her hands didn't shake this time. They felt steady, almost strong. Next, she moved on to the extras, the things Evelyn bragged about but never touched herself. Streaming subscriptions, online deliveries, the internet bill, even the gardener's wages. All of them had been quietly handled by Maya. One by one, she cut them off. It felt like pulling invisible threads from a tapestry. From the outside, the house still looked whole. But soon, the fabric would begin to unravel. And it did. The first sign came a week later. Evelyn walked into the kitchen, flipped a switch, and frowned when the lights flickered weakly. The electricity bill had gone unpaid. The next day, the gardener didn't show up, leaving the lawn to grow wild. Then Daniel tried to stream a football match and found nothing but an error screen. At first, Evelyn blamed the companies. She called customer service, furious, demanding answers. But the truth came in polite, scripted replies. Your account is no longer active. She felt the first crack then. Daniel noticed too. Didn't you say you had everything under control, Mom? His voice carried frustration she hadn't heard before. Evelyn snapped back. Of course I do. It must be some mistake. Do you think she had anything to do with this? Her face twisted at the thought of Maya, even though she wasn't there. But mistakes don't pile up like that. Within weeks, unpaid bills arrived at the door. The once perfect house began to lose its shine. Wi-Fi gone, electricity cut, lawn overgrown. The fridge sat half empty because Evelyn hadn't bothered with grocery orders. Those had been handled by Maya too. The proud house Evelyn ruled over so confidently was falling apart, and she couldn't hide it. Daniel grew restless. He worked late, came home angry, and their dinners turned into arguments. You always said Maya was useless, he said one night, tossing a stack of unpaid bills onto the table. But ever since she left, nothing works. Do you even know how to pay these? Evelyn's pride flared. Don't you dare blame me. She must have planned this. That girl always wanted to ruin us. But the truth lingered in Daniel's silence. He remembered how Maya would sit with her laptop, quietly tapping through bills, reminding him of due dates. He remembered her lists, her notes stuck on the fridge, her calm explanations about where their money went. He had brushed it off then, trusting her completely, never realizing how much she carried. Now without her, he saw it clearly. Meanwhile, Maya was trying to find her own balance. She was staying with her friend Clara, sleeping on a couch in a small apartment. It wasn't comfortable, but it was safe. She cried at night sometimes, missing Daniel, missing the idea of a home she once believed was hers. She still loved him. That truth hurt the most. But she couldn't forgive his silence. He had watched her walk away. He had let it happen. Clara was gentle but firm. You gave too much of yourself, Maya. Maybe this is your chance to give something back to yourself. Those words stuck with her. So Maya began to rebuild. She polished her resume and applied for jobs. Not just small ones, but bigger ones that matched her education. She attended interviews, nervous but determined. Slowly, opportunities began to appear. When her first paycheck from a new position arrived, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in years: control. She opened a savings account in her name, set aside money for herself, and even bought a second-hand desk for Clara's apartment so she could work comfortably. Each small step gave her more strength. She started to smile again, not the polite, fragile smile she wore in Evelyn's house, but a real one, soft, free, alive. Back at Evelyn's, things only worsened. Evelyn's friends whispered when they visited and noticed the house dark, the lawn messy, the fridge half empty. Evelyn snapped at the staff, at Daniel, at anyone she could. But deep down she knew. The house she had bragged about was crumbling because the woman she despised had been the one quietly holding it together. The tension in Daniel's eyes grew every day. You wanted her gone, he told his mother, his voice low with regret. But now I see who really kept this family together. Evelyn didn't answer. She couldn't. Two worlds were moving in opposite directions. In Evelyn's world, pride was collapsing under the weight of unpaid bills and public embarrassment. In Maya's world, quiet revenge had become something greater. She was no longer just surviving, she was rising. For the first time in years, Maya looked at herself in the mirror and didn't see weakness. She saw strength. She saw a woman who had been thrown away, only to discover she could stand taller on her own. And she knew this was only the beginning. Evelyn finally confronts Maya in public. It happens on a Sunday morning at church. The place is full. Neighbors, friends, even distant relatives. Maya is sitting quietly near the back, dressed simply, her hair tied back, holding a small prayer book. She doesn't expect trouble. She only wants peace. But Evelyn spots her. Her heels click loudly against the church floor as she storms toward Maya, her voice rising even before she reaches her. There she is, the ungrateful girl who destroyed everything. Heads turn. Murmurs spread. The pastor pauses mid-sentence, eyes widening at the disturbance. Evelyn points a shaking finger at Maya. You think you're clever, don't you? Canceling everything, leaving us to deal with the mess you created. You ruined my house, my reputation, my family. Gasps ripple through the crowd. People glance at each other, shocked at Evelyn's outburst. Some look at Maya with pity, others with curiosity. Everyone waits for her to break down, to cry the way she always did before. But Maya doesn't cry. She stands slowly, her back straight, her hands steady at her sides. Her voice is calm, steady, almost gentle, but it carries through the church like a bell. I didn't ruin anything, Evelyn. I simply stepped back and let you see the truth. The crowd leans in. Evelyn's face twists. What truth? She snaps. Maya's eyes are clear, her tone unshakable. The truth is that all those years you called me useless, I was the one paying your bills. The electricity, the water, the gardener, the internet. You didn't manage any of it. I did. Quietly. Without asking for praise. A sharp intake of breath comes from the crowd. Whispers spread quickly. People who had always seen Evelyn as the strong matriarch now look at her with doubt. Evelyn stammers. That's a lie. You're just trying to make yourself look good. Maya steps closer, her voice low but strong. Check the accounts. Every payment came from me. I made sure your house ran smoothly while you mocked me, belittled me, and told me I was nothing. You thought you were in control, Evelyn, but you were blind to the fact that the nobody you despised was the one holding your world together. The silence that follows is heavy. Daniel, sitting near the front, turns his head sharply toward Maya, his face pale. His eyes widen as memories flood back, the late-night laptop glow, the sticky notes on the fridge, the way Maya always reminded him of due dates. His chest tightens. She's telling the truth and he knows it. He whispers to himself, almost in pain. She did it all. Evelyn's cheeks burn red. You planned this. You tried to embarrass me. Maya shakes her head. No. I only left when you told me to leave, and when I walked out, I took back what was mine. You said I came with nothing? You were wrong. I had my mind, my work, my patience, and I used them to build something for myself. Evelyn glares, her voice trembling with anger. What do you mean? Maya breathes deeply, then delivers the twist that changes everything. I didn't just cancel the payments. I saved. Every spare coin I had, I put aside. And now, I've signed the lease on my own apartment. Small, yes, but mine. I don't need your house. I don't need your approval. I don't need anything from you anymore. The words echo through the church. For a moment, it feels like time stops. Gasps again. Some people smile faintly, admiring Maya's courage. Others shake their heads at Evelyn, embarrassed for her. Evelyn, who built her pride on power and control, is standing exposed in front of everyone, her weakness revealed. Daniel looks shattered. His hand covers his face, shame spreading across him. He finally sees what his silence cost. The woman who loved him, who carried the weight of his home, is no longer his. Maya turns her gaze to him, her voice softer but firm. Daniel, I waited for you to defend me, but your silence told me everything. And now it's too late. His lips part, but no words come. He knows she is right. Evelyn sputters, desperate to recover. You're just a selfish girl who thinks she's won something. Maya's reply is calm, almost kind. I didn't win, Evelyn. I simply walked away from a fight that was never worth my soul. And with that, she picks up her small bag, nods politely to the pastor, and walks toward the door. Her steps are steady, her head high. Behind her, Evelyn stands frozen, her face pale, her reputation shattered. Daniel sits with his head bowed, the weight of his choices pressing down on him. For the first time, everyone sees the truth. Evelyn didn't lose to Maya. She lost to her own pride. And Maya? She walks out not as the broken woman who once stood crying in a driveway, but as someone new, someone free. Maya signs a lease for her own apartment, small but hers. The moment she walks in, she feels a strange mix of fear and freedom. The walls are bare, the rooms echo when she speaks, but for the first time in years, the space belongs only to her. She spends her first evening unpacking boxes. She puts up a few photos, lays a soft blanket on the couch, and lights a small candle. It's nothing fancy, but it feels warm, safe, and alive, something Evelyn's cold, polished house never was. Every little thing in this apartment carries her choice, her decision, her ownership. Over the next few weeks, Maya grows stronger. She gets up early, makes coffee, and looks out the window at the city below. She applies for jobs she once thought were out of reach. Slowly, she starts to build a new routine. Her life feels lighter without the constant weight of Evelyn's insults or Daniel's hesitation. Meanwhile, Evelyn struggles. The electricity is cut off for 2 days because the bill wasn't paid on time. The gardener refuses to work without payment. Guests stop visiting the house because it looks neglected. Evelyn's pride begins to crack, but she blames Maya even more, never admitting her own mistakes. Daniel, however, feels the truth. He misses Maya. He sees now how deeply she supported him, how much she sacrificed. One evening, he shows up at her new apartment. Maya opens the door surprised. He looks tired, almost broken. Maya, he says softly, I made a mistake. I should have stood by you. Please come home. For a moment, her heart aches. She remembers the man she fell in love with, the laughter they once shared. But then she remembers that night, his silence, his hesitation when she needed him most. She takes a deep breath and answers calmly. Love without respect is just another prison, Daniel. I won't go back to that. Her voice is steady. She doesn't cry this time. Daniel lowers his head, realizing he has lost her. Not because she doesn't love him anymore, but because she has learned to love herself more. Back at the family gatherings, people whisper about Evelyn's downfall. Once proud and loud, she is now avoided. Her control over Daniel slips, and her reputation in the community fades. The woman who threw Maya out is left with only her bitterness. Maya, on the other hand, shines brighter. She decorates her apartment with flowers, books, and colors that reflect her spirit. She laughs more with friends, takes long walks, and even treats herself to little joys she used to deny. Every step she takes proves she is stronger than the woman Evelyn once called dead weight. She lost everything: Her marriage, her home, her place in that family. But in that loss, she discovered something far greater. Her own voice, her own power, her own freedom. Maya looks around her apartment one evening sipping tea. The candlelight flickers against the walls, casting a warm glow. She smiles to herself. She may be alone, but she is not lonely. She is free. And this time, she knows, she will never let anyone take that away again. Maya sits by her apartment window at night, a warm cup of tea in her hands. The city lights twinkle outside, quiet but alive, just like her heart. For the first time in years, she feels peace instead of fear. The apartment is small, but every corner feels like hers. The plant she picked out, the soft blanket on the chair, the little bookshelf, all of it reflects her, not anyone else's rules. No one is yelling. No one is controlling her. It is silent, but it is a good kind of silence. Her phone buzzes. It's another message from Daniel. She doesn't open it. She doesn't need to anymore. Once she would have dropped everything to answer, to fix things, to keep the peace. Now she understands something she never saw before. Her worth was never tied to how much she gave up for others. She looks at the night sky, her lips curving into a soft smile. She knows life will not be easy. Rent will be tight. Bills will be hers alone. But every challenge feels lighter than the weight she carried in Evelyn's house. This life, even with its struggles, is truly hers. She whispers to herself, almost like a promise, I am enough. A car passes outside, its headlights flashing briefly across her face. She closes her eyes, takes a slow breath, and lets it out. Freedom tastes like tea and quiet nights, and knowing no one can throw her out of her own home. She opens her journal, writing one last line across the page, steady and strong. They thought kicking me out was the end. But it was the beginning of me. Hi friends. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories. See you in the next one. Bye.